Have you ever wondered why so many older adults wake up at 3 a.m. and can't seem to fall back asleep? You might lie there in the quiet darkness, staring at the ceiling, wondering what's wrong with your body or mind. The truth is, this is more common than you think, and it's not just a random habit or a simple result of aging. In this video, we're exploring 5 powerful reasons why people tend to wake up around 3 a.m. as they age, and what those early morning wake-ups may be trying to tell you. Each reason reveals something deeper about your body, health, and life experience. By the end of this video, you may see your sleep in a whole new light. These aren't just surface-level explanations. They're rooted in real physiology, psychology, and the natural rhythms of aging that many people aren't even aware of. We'll talk about changes in hormones, sleep patterns, health challenges, and even emotional and social influences that may be working behind the scenes. Most importantly, we'll approach this with honesty, empowerment, and deep respect for the life you've lived so far. So, if you've ever found yourself waking up around 3 a.m. and wondering why, you're in the right place. Stay tuned until the end, because what you learn here might not only help you sleep better, it could help you better understand and appreciate what your body is going through. Now, let's get started. 1. Reduced melatonin production. One of the clearest reasons older adults wake up in the middle of the night, often around 3 a.m., is the natural decline in melatonin production that comes with age. Melatonin is the hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle, often called the body's internal clock. It plays a key role in helping you fall asleep and stay asleep. When you were younger, your body likely produced a strong, steady amount of melatonin each night, allowing you to enjoy long stretches of deep, uninterrupted rest. But as the years go by, your body starts to make less of it, which can impact how soundly you sleep. You might still fall asleep easily at night, especially after a full day or a relaxing evening, but by the early hours of the morning, whether it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m., or 4 a.m., your melatonin levels may dip too low to keep you asleep. You might find yourself waking up not because of a loud noise or a dream, but because your brain is slowly shifting back toward wakefulness without enough melatonin to maintain deep sleep. This isn't something you're doing wrong, and it doesn't mean your body is failing. It simply means your internal chemistry is changing with age. Environmental factors can make this worse. Small amounts of light from a street lamp, a blinking clock, or a hallway light can suppress melatonin even further. Take Harold, for example. At 72, he always considered himself a good sleeper. But recently, he's been waking up around 3:15 a.m. most nights. He doesn't feel anxious or upset, just fully alert, as if it's time to start the day. Once he learned that this was a normal part of aging due to melatonin changes, he stopped blaming himself and adjusted his habits. Now, he keeps his bedroom darker, avoids screens before bed, and takes an evening walk to reinforce his natural sleep rhythm. These small changes help signal to his body that it's still nighttime. While he still wakes up early sometimes, he's learned to work with his body instead of against it. Understanding this can be a game changer. When you realize that waking up early isn't your fault, but rather a natural chemical shift, you can take steps to support your sleep instead of resenting your body. That's the power of awareness. It turns frustration into compassion and helps you make wiser choices about how you care for yourself at night. Second, shifted sleep cycle and advanced sleep phase. Another major reason older adults tend to wake up around 3 a.m. is a natural shift in the body's internal clock, known as advanced sleep phase. As we age, our circadian rhythms move forward, meaning we may feel sleepy earlier in the evening and wake up earlier in the morning. You might find yourself nodding off during a late-night movie or waking up at dawn without an alarm. even on days when you wish you could sleep longer. This shift isn't just a habit. It's deeply rooted in biology and becomes more pronounced with age. When you're younger, your body's rhythm is often aligned with a later bedtime and a wake-up time that matches the sun. But as this rhythm advances, your sleep window shifts forward. You may start falling asleep around 9 p.m. or earlier without intending to, meaning your body has already gone through a full sleep cycle by the time 3 a.m. arrives. That's why you might find yourself wide awake in the middle of the night, feeling as though your rest is complete, even if it's still pitch dark outside. This doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It just means your body is operating on a different schedule. Think of it like a clock that has been gently reset over the years, ticking ahead a little more each season. While this shift isn't harmful, it can be frustrating if your lifestyle, family routine, or personal preferences don't align with the new rhythm. There's also a psychological side to this change. Many older adults live in quieter households or spend more time alone, and that peaceful environment can amplify the body's signals to wind down earlier. Without the constant activity or noise that might have once delayed bedtime, the body's nightly shutdown process begins much sooner. Additionally, for those no longer working full-time or following a strict daily routine, the absence of external time cues, like meetings, commutes, or social gatherings, can strengthen this internal shift. Take Charles, for example, a 68-year-old retiree. He often eats dinner around 5:30 p.m., watches television for an hour, and then goes to bed by 9 p.m. By 3 a.m., his body naturally wakes up, not from stress or anxiety, but simply because it feels well rested. At first, he thought it was insomnia, but after learning about advanced sleep phase, he realized his sleep wasn't broken. It was just rescheduled. He began making small adjustments, like reading with a warm light, taking a gentle walk after dinner, and chatting with his daughter before bed. These subtle changes helped shift his wake-up time closer to morning, reducing those early wake-ups and making his schedule feel more aligned with his daily life. This natural shift in sleep cycles is common among older adults, though it's rarely discussed. Understanding it can remove a great deal of guilt or confusion and offer a more compassionate way to work with your body instead of fighting it. If you find yourself waking up around 3 a.m. feeling fully rested, your body may simply be on an earlier schedule. Once you recognize this, you can shape your routine in ways that support your overall well-being. Another common reason older adults wake up at this hour is physical discomfort or health-related interruptions. As we age, the likelihood of experiencing chronic conditions or subtle health issues increases, and many of these can quietly disrupt sleep. A sore joint, a full bladder, or a sudden twinge in the back can be enough to bring you out of deep rest. For instance, arthritis can make lying in the same position for hours uncomfortable. The pain may not be noticeable at first, but after several hours of stillness, it can build up and wake you. Similarly, nighttime acid reflux can disturb sleep, especially if dinner was eaten too late or if lying down too soon after eating. Even minor factors like dry mouth, muscle cramps, or slight changes in room temperature can cause light awakenings, particularly during the early morning hours when the body's defenses are more sensitive. One of the most common physical reasons for waking up at 3 a.m. is the need to urinate. As the bladder becomes less elastic with age, the urge to relieve it can come on faster and more frequently. This urge might be unnoticed during the day due to distractions, but in the quiet of the night, it becomes impossible to ignore. Once you get up and move, even just to use the bathroom, the body may shift from deep sleep to light alertness, making it harder to fall back asleep. Medications can also play a role. Many older adults take prescriptions for blood pressure, heart health, or pain management, and these can have side effects like frequent urination, changes in body temperature, or increased sensitivity to noise and light. These effects can disrupt sleep without an obvious connection to the medication itself. Consider Eleanor, a 76-year-old woman who's always been a light sleeper. Over the past year, she began waking up around 3:30 a.m. every night. At first, she assumed it was simply due to aging, but after discussing it with her doctor, she discovered that one of her medications was affecting her hydration levels, increasing her nighttime trips to the bathroom. With medical guidance, she was able to make adjustments that improved her sleep. Understanding the factors behind these early morning awakenings can help older adults feel more in control of their sleep. Instead of seeing it as a problem, it can be viewed as an adjustment, one that, with the right strategies, can lead to better rest and overall well-being. She adjusted the timing of her dosage, made a few lifestyle changes, and now wakes up less frequently, finding it easier to fall back asleep when she does. The important thing to remember is that waking up during the night doesn't mean your body is failing. In fact, it's a sign that your body is still functioning, responding, and adjusting. These signals can serve as valuable indicators, guiding you toward better self-care, more informed choices, and a deeper trust in your body's natural rhythms. While waking up at 3 a.m. may feel like an inconvenience, it can also be an opportunity, a quiet nudge to tune in, make small adjustments, and support deeper, more restful sleep. Lifestyle habits that shift your sleep rhythm. Another often overlooked reason for early wake-ups is the impact of long-standing daily habits. Small lifestyle choices, when you eat, how active you are, and how you wind down in the evening, can gradually reshape your internal rhythm. Many older adults naturally start eating dinner earlier, relaxing sooner in the evening, and becoming less physically active throughout the day. Over time, these subtle shifts signal to the body that nighttime should begin earlier, which in turn pushes the wake-up time forward. When daily routines become quieter, especially after retirement, the body receives fewer external cues like commuting, running errands, or engaging in mentally and physically stimulating activities. Without these signals, the sleep-wake cycle may start drifting forward. A calm, dimly lit evening with minimal stimulation encourages the brain to produce melatonin earlier, inviting sleep before you've even realized how early it is. Once you fall asleep earlier, your body naturally completes its rest cycle sooner, often leading to wake-ups around 3 a.m. There's also a connection between food timing and sleep quality. Eating dinner early, while generally healthy, can sometimes lead to a drop in blood sugar overnight, which may subtly disrupt sleep. The body may not register this as hunger, but it can still trigger wakefulness. Similarly, caffeine consumed even in the afternoon can linger in the system, especially as metabolism slows with age. This can lead to lighter sleep and an increased likelihood of waking up at minor disturbances. For someone like Walter, a 74-year-old who recently retired, these changes crept in gradually. His days became less structured, and his evenings more relaxed. He started eating dinner earlier, dozing off during the evening news, and heading to bed before 9 p.m. Without realizing it, his entire routine had shifted forward. Before long, he began waking up around 3 a.m., puzzled by why he was so alert before dawn. After reflecting on his habits, Walter made a few small adjustments, adding a short afternoon walk, reading in brighter light during the evening, and avoiding naps after dinner. These subtle changes helped shift his sleep cycle slightly later, allowing him to wake up at a time that better aligned with his daily routine. It's easy to underestimate the power of routine. Our bodies thrive on rhythm, daily patterns that act as signals, telling the brain when to rest and when to be alert. As these signals weaken or shift, the internal clock can lose its bearings, leading to earlier and more fragmented sleep. However, by recognizing these patterns and making thoughtful changes, it's possible to gently guide the body back to a sleep schedule that feels more natural and restorative. Emotional and psychological restlessness. Sometimes, waking up at 3 a.m. has less to do with the body and more to do with the mind. As life slows down, emotions and thoughts that were once buried by the busyness of daily life may start to surface in the stillness of the night. The early morning hours, when the world is quiet and distractions are few, can become a time when unspoken worries, memories, or lingering thoughts rise to the surface. You may find yourself lying awake, not because of discomfort or noise, but because your mind is quietly processing unresolved feelings. This kind of restlessness isn't the same as the intense anxiety that might occur in younger years. Instead, it's often quieter and more reflective. A subtle sense that something remains unsettled, even if it's difficult to put into words. The mind, when left without external stimulation, often turns inward, revisiting past relationships, major life decisions, moments of loss, or things left unsaid. And because the body is no longer constantly rushing from one responsibility to another, these thoughts have more space to emerge. In the stillness of the night, thoughts have room to echo a little louder. It's important to recognize that loneliness can sometimes play a role in these early wake-ups. As time passes, social circles naturally shrink. Children move away, friends become busier, and routines change. The daytime may be filled with light and activity, but the quiet of the night can bring an awareness of emotional gaps. This kind of loneliness doesn't always feel heavy. Sometimes, it simply appears as a longing for connection, or a quiet desire for someone to talk to when the house is still. Take Gloria, for example. At 80 and widowed, she keeps herself engaged during the day, tending her garden, calling her grandchildren, and watching her favorite shows. But around 3 a.m. she often wakes up, her thoughts drifting to memories of her late husband or worries she keeps tucked away during daylight hours. Initially, she assumed something was wrong with her sleep. Over time, however, she realized that her early waking wasn't about sleep at all. It was her heart asking to be heard. To support herself, Gloria started keeping a small journal by her bed. When she wakes up, she writes down whatever is on her mind. Nothing elaborate, just a few honest thoughts. She also introduced a quiet evening ritual, such as listening to soft music or writing a short note to a friend. These small acts of reflection and connection gave her emotions a gentle outlet, easing her mind and allowing her to return to sleep more peacefully. The truth is, the human heart doesn't follow a strict schedule. It remembers what it wants to remember, asks the questions it needs to ask, and sometimes does so at 3 a.m. when the rest of the world is quiet. But that isn't a flaw, it's a sign of depth. If you find yourself waking up in these moments of reflection, it may mean you're carrying wisdom that is ready to be acknowledged. You have lived through joys and heartbreaks, and those experiences shape not only your memories, but also your sense of self. Rather than seeing these wake-ups as something to fix, try approaching them with curiosity and kindness. What is your mind trying to tell you? What thoughts need to be given a voice? What part of you needs a little grace, even in the dark? Sometimes, the most meaningful rest comes not from ignoring these moments, but from honoring them. In doing so, you may find not only better sleep, but also a richer understanding of yourself in this stage of life. Final thoughts. Take a quiet moment to reflect on what you've just heard. What resonated most with you? Was it the shift in your internal clock, the subtle changes in your health, or perhaps something deeper, an emotional rhythm that only reveals itself when the world is still? Each of these insights offers a different way to understand early morning wake-ups, and none of them suggests that something is wrong or broken. In fact, they highlight just how responsive and adaptable both the body and mind remain, even as life evolves. There's a quiet power in understanding what your body is trying to communicate, especially in those soft hours before dawn. Rather than viewing 3 a.m. wake-ups as a frustration, consider them as messages, gentle signals reminding you to listen more closely to your needs, habits, and emotions. You are not alone in this experience, and you're certainly not the only one seeking answers. But with insight comes strength, and with strength comes the ability to make small, meaningful changes that support better rest, deeper comfort, and a stronger connection to your own rhythms. If any of these insights resonated with you, remember that you're not just aging, you're evolving. And with that evolution comes the opportunity to rest more intentionally, care for yourself more gently, and greet each new morning with greater understanding and peace.